Good morning. Well, first of all, thank you, Stephanie, for those wonderful remarks, and more importantly, for all of your impactful work here at Villanova and for convening this inaugural anti-poverty symposium. I'm looking forward to a conversation, but just wanted to offer a few brief remarks. It's wonderful to see everybody here today, especially to discuss something that is so pressing to our country and to our world. And I wanted to speak with you just for a moment about this moment that we're in. All of us recognize that poverty in our country and our world has existed for forever, and that just in the last few years, the United States was already grappling with deep-seated, continuing poverty. I saw that when I was housing secretary at the Pine Ridge Reservation, where we visited families that lived in a two-bedroom house that was dilapidated, with two of the families living in a dirt floor basement. Their rooms were separated by a sheet, a bed sheet. There were 17 or 18 people living in this house. I saw it here in Philadelphia at the JBJ Homes, where I spoke to a gentleman who said that he had formerly been homeless and for the last 12 days had had an apartment there at the JBJ Homes. He shared with me that his pet peeve was that he kept forgetting his keys because he had gotten so unused to having his own place that he had lost the habit that all of us have of taking your keys with you when you get up and go. I saw it in Los Angeles, not only on Skid Row, but also in underpasses throughout the other urban and suburban parts of that metro area. We know that in this country, that up and down our political spectrum, ideological spectrum, urban, suburban, and rural parts of our nation, that we've been grappling with growing inequality, even as worker productivity has gone up, wages have not. During this pandemic, those problems have been exacerbated. This moment has been unlike any moment that any of us in this room or any of us on this planet have ever experienced before in this country, with the loss of more than 700,000 lives to COVID, a deep recession that brought unemployment, evictions, people whose lives were turned upside down, a racial reckoning that is our latest attempt to grapple with the original sin of this country and to find a way to create a society that works for everyone. I'm convinced that if we learn anything from this experience, we have to learn that all of us are in this together, that we have seen that the most vulnerable have been the hardest hit, and also that all of us are more vulnerable than we thought. You saw during this pandemic those images of cars lined up for miles waiting for food from a food bank. I bet you if you asked a lot of those people, they would have told you that they never imagined that they would be in line for food from a food bank. In fact, that's what a lot of them told food bank operators. The same thing for people who got rental assistance and utility assistance. And so there should be in our country a growing coalition to treat healthcare as a human right, housing as a human right, education as a human right, and basic sustenance as a human right as well. And more importantly, as Professor Sena noted, more than just thinking that or saying it is to act on it, to do something about it. And I know that we can actually do things to address poverty that work. During the Obama administration, because the administration made ending homelessness for veterans a priority and Congress worked the way that it should and allocated resources for that, and because mayors and governors across the country adopted good policies that actually worked and prioritized getting people into a place to live, a permanent place to live with supportive services, we saw a 47% reduction from 2010 to 2016 in veteran homelessness. We saw that you can achieve results. We also saw that that change has to be systemic change. It can't just be piecemeal, and you can't just have a few people dedicated to it. It has to be visionary. It has to be implemented. It has to be systemic. But we also know that there's an urgency to address this. Because all of us are in this together, it's not just about any one of us, and the people who are in poverty are all among us, and sometimes us, and their fate is also the fate of this nation. Our destinies are intertwined in the years to come. So I hope that this symposium is an opportunity to learn and to network and also to resolve in this moment, in 2021 and going forward, after all that our nation and our world has been through, to make a change, to pay attention and to act for the most vulnerable like we have never acted before in America, to have the courage to do that. Thank you.